If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, and this is Syya. Now, we've all heard the term influencers. We have the social media influencers, yada, yada, yada. Everybody that's sits there and goes, says, look at what I'm selling today. That's not the influencers I care about. I care about the influencers in business. The people that when somebody says, she's like, I don't know what to do, they know who to go to. It may be just somebody on the line, somebody who's 30 years working, on the line somewhere. It says, hey, listen, we've got this problem. We need to jig this thing up. You're the one who works with this all day long. What do you think? All the way up to the senior vice president who just came from a different industry says, hey, listen, we've always done it this way. Is there a better way to do things? And being able to utilize people's experience and expertise and knowledge, and the holes that they've been down, the ability of them that they've gotten out of them, and they know how to sidestep it. Those are people that are influential. People who I can go to, or you can go to, and say, "What do you think?" And you respect their opinion. You respect, their expertise. You expect their experience. You respect who they are as individuals, and you're willing to listen to them because you know that when you listen, you're going to become better and be able to do your job better, or you're going to create a better product or be able to help customers better, whatever. Those are the influencers that I think are the most important influencers in the world. Syya, let's gnaw on this.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, being that I'm in the social media business, right? Obviously, this is near and dear to my heart because I tend to have it's interesting. I'm in the social media business, but I tend to have a pragmatic view about influencers.
Yeah.
Again, I'm helping to build brands so they become more influential.
Yes.
But not necessarily influencers in the context of a individual. One of the things that's always bothered me, I think, is there are influencers who have been manufactured as influencers.
Absolutely.
I would say like the Kardashians are manufactured influencers. And then they have grown into a capacity that they have now become influential because of that vacuousness of culture and society, which could be a totally different other conversation. But it made me think about when we think about some of the other influential people in our world, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, right? Abraham Lincoln, what is it about? I mean, and I'm going to do this more like vaguely, even people with that cult of personality, Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin. Okay. This is just about their influentialness, not a statement on their activity as leaders. Okay.
Right. I can take you there. I can go with you there.
I'm clarifying because this is going on the internet. I do not want to be misquoted.
I understand.
I am not.
Don't want people taking you out of context.
I am not taking these people and saying they're good. All I'm saying is, but how do you describe why they have such an appeal? Why is it that people have listened to them, glommed onto their words? Again, good, bad, ugly, and different. But what was it about them that had that it factor that made them kind of create a community around them, right? And I'm always fascinated by that.
Yeah, and it's a great question. It is an absolutely great question. And for me, there's a number of different factors. One of them is their ability of oratory. It is their ability to sit there and say, take complex situations, make them simple, and make them personal.
Neil deGrasse
and be able to
Tyson
sit
does that.
and be able to sit there and say, let me take this absolutely complex complicated situation and turn it into something that the average person can not only glom onto, but identify with and be able to relate to. And, it's, if done on the political sphere and stuff like that, this can become jingoistic. That's, it can create movements. It could, on the left and the right, doesn't matter. We can go into that way. But when it comes to business, it's the same effect. The great people that are influential are the people that can take complex, sophisticated, chunky, serious pieces of information, digest them, mold them into something that is identifiable, and create a story around them that people resonate with. And and all of a sudden they can digest it. And not only that, they can recall it and they can retell it to others. Because all of a sudden you become influential when all of a sudden I heard this from Syya. She told me this story on da 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 da, and this was the lesson that we learned out of it. What do you think? All of a sudden you are being able to elevate yourself through the information that you learned from somebody that you find is influential, because you've taken the story that they've given you and be able to look smart and look, knowledgeable to somebody else through transporting that information that you learned from somebody that had somebody of influence over you. So I think that storytelling is a key factor in creating influence, being able to take data and turn it into something that is relevant and something that is meaningful and something that is in the language of the person that is being influenced. Because you're going to influence an engineer completely different than you're going to influence a doctor versus a TV repairman. And not giving any weight of who's smart, who's different, but the language is different. The analogies that you're going to use are different. The how you make that information relevant to that particular person, so it's relevant for them in their job, in their life, in the people that they need to influence, is different. So it's being able to make stuff translatable that makes you influential.
I think I like that perspective of that, right? To take complex concepts and digest it in a way and articulate it that, the masses can consume it, ingest it, and then they themselves have thought provoking whatever emotion connection to it. I think that is a really valid point, because again, everyone in the audience vibe with me here. Like, write down the names of the people that you find that have influenced you in your life, that are influential to you. I'm really intrigued to see what comes up, right? Is it a celebrity? Is it Lee Iacocca? Is it a political person? Is it my grandma?
Is it your mother?
And, right? Yeah. Right. Like, I would be really intrigued to see that, because I think that, I'm no psychologist, but I do think when the first three names of the people that have influenced you in your life and you pop up with them, that kind of gives you a guiding light of where your priorities are too. And it's not to judge who your three pick is. It's simply, if you have three spiritual leaders, well, clearly you're a spiritual person, right? If it is, me, all rock musicians, well, that tells you some a little bit my brain too, right? But and then here's the fun part. Ask yourself or your friends, maybe that might be a future salon topic, which is, hey, who are your three most influential people? Let's talk about why we think it is and why we think each other's is that. And then maybe it becomes like a mini personality conversation. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that should be a leadership exercise, don't you think?
Well,
that would be a great.
It's funny because it is a leadership exercise. And
is it? Okay.
In my first book, Powerful Personal Brands: A Hands-On Guide to Understanding Yours, it's a chapter in my book. Where I talk about who are the people that were influential in my life and why they're influential in my life. And at the end of every chapter, I have a question that I ask and 3 pages of notes where people can write their own answers. So I've turned this book also not only as a chapter book on different parts of personal branding, but also a workbook that's included inside it. And one of the main questions I ask is, who are the top influential people in your life, and why are they influential to you? And I think the why is far more important than the who. Like,
Yes.
why do you find these people influential? What is the things that they either do, say, act, react, how they relate, whatever, that make them influential to you? Why do you go back to this person time and time again to be able to make sure you have ongoing conversations, that you learn something new, that that you can increase your level of expertise, whatever? And and it could be, as you said, it could be somebody that you've never met. It could be somebody that's somebody on YouTube, or it could be somebody that you're related to. And all three of them are right, and there's 100 other reasons. But
Right.
I think that we need to understand why people are influential to us,
I love that.
because why somebody's influential to you is going to be a different reason than why they're influential to me.
100%. In fact, we could pick the exact same person and totally different facets, right? Like it could be, giggles, because, we've passed it, but, mental health awareness month was
Sure.
June. And I've just been, learning a lot about mental health in support of Walking Tall movement. Shout out to you guys. But it is, let's say, for example, you and I both pick Abraham Lincoln,
Sure.
right? So there's a lot of things like that are noble about him, right? The fact that he had the courage to try to keep the Union together, right? Keep America together, right? The ability for him to articulate himself. He was a great orator, right?
Mm-hmm.
407 years ago, right? We know that. But there's also the flip side to it, right? So allegedly he suffered from massive depression,
Yes, he did.
right? And so again, I mentioned Mental Health Awareness Month, was he was severely depressed much of the time, and yet he was able to art work. I don't want to say he worked through it well, but I'm saying he worked through it in a way where he knew he had to overcome his personal challenges in the pursuit of the greater good of keeping us together as the United States of America,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because depression is a nasty, nasty thing, and it's not something like, oh, I'll just push it off my mind. It's a considered done day, right? So that, to me, I find him admirable
Yeah.
and influential in the world of how does one serve in a way where maybe their well is empty at times. I think that's just like, I think his influence on that, I think is fascinating. Totally two different perspective on the same person,
Oh, absolutely. And
right?
I'm amazed, if I remember correctly, that he was a failed politician in his early years.
Oh yeah.
He tried to become a politician early on in his career and failed miserably at it. And if he had just given up and it just said, "Oh, not for me, fine, I'll go and do something else," we never would have had the Gettysburg Address. Who knows, the war could have turned out different. You never know how the world could have changed if he had not become president of the United States.
Dude,
It
dude
could have
was
been
a
better, it could have been
boxer.
worse, but it would have been different regardless.
Right, right. Well, hey, I love that trivia. The fact that he was a boxer, an undefeated boxer, by the way.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, you look at that tall. I think it was like 6'4",
Yeah.
lanky. I mean, like I said, he did look kind of sad every picture, but but
Didn't look like a boxer though, I'll tell you that much.
no, I mean, clearly boxer form has evolved over the years. I
Yes.
think, but
Him to
hey,
Mike Tyson are a little bit different, yes.
yeah. Oh, whoosh. Okay, okay.
But
Could you
hey, let's
imagine?
get back let's get back to the influence.
Okay,
And
sorry. We'll go back.
and try to land this plane. Um, we need to realize what is in it for us and what's in it for the influencer. And why are people trying to be influencers? Are they trying to be influencers for the greater good? Are they looking, or is it true narcissism? Like, why are we following these people? What is the true value? Are they adding true value to us, or are they not? Are they giving us good advice? Are they not giving us good advice? And each of that comes up to our own. We need to decide whether there is value in going back to the well or not.
Yeah. I'm trying to bring it back to, in my brain, obviously, because I'm social media, I'm thinking culture, right? Pop culture.
Yes.
But bringing it back into the business side of the house is, it does not matter what level you are in a corporate environment.
Absolutely.
You can be influential. You can build a strong reputation as someone that could be reliable, help, accountable, execute on everything they say, or can be like, look, this person wins, Miss or Mr. Congeniality, right? You could be influential of bringing good, right, to a workplace. We can rely on, Ben for that, really tedious bad dad joke. You know what I mean? Like, but you would be influential for us to like almost start loving these bad dad jokes. Whatevs. I do love a good dad joke, but the bad ones are really painful. But yeah, no, I think that's where my brain goes with, wherever you are at, what stage in your career, you could absolutely have influence.
Yes.
If it's something where you can do it consistently, you have a perspective that you're solving a problem or solving something and are able to articulate complex to the simple. I think those are the great key ingredients to become influential, not just
Perfect.
an influencer.
So let's leave it there. I'm Ben.
And I'm Syya.
And we'll see you soon.
Hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not On This, Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at IamBenBaker.com or me at BrilliantBeeMedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. See you next week for another episode of Not On This, Business Bites.